It is the first ever complete game that I made. It is nice, it looks cool, it is fun to play, but Google will not let me to publish it. I am Testing Coder. I am 40 years old and I'm a professional developer. I've been coding for the most of my life and now I decided to make some small, simple games. What could possibly go wrong here? You know, I wanted to make games for quite some time. I had those Pixel tutorials, I tried Pygame, and I also made this small Pixman clone. Well, Pixman is the name of the game, it is Pac-Man clone. Anyways, at some point I decided that probably it is time for me to make a game of my own. I don't think I'm too old for that, no. And for whatever reason, I also thought that I would make a game that I can release commercially. So I made a bit of research, if you can call it that, and I decided to make a mobile game. Well, because everyone has a mobile phone, I have a mobile phone, and in my understanding it has to be Android, because Android is the phone I have and I didn't want to stumble around iPhone. And you can see some indie games published on Google Play, so I was excited! Now, to make a successful mobile game, I couldn't use Pixel, so I started to look at serious game engines. I looked at Unity, I made a prototype, and I didn't like it. Well, for once it was really slow. For second, I don't know C#. So next I tried Godot, and I made this small Endless Runner prototype as well. Godot is nice, it is way faster than Unity, and well, it is open source, free, and all these goodies. Though I would say that it was a bit quirky, so I decided to try GameMaker. I saw some video about GameMaker, I guess, and I decided to give it a go because GameMaker was like the way I thought it was. Actually, it was right. Basically, GameMaker was a great engine for making 2D games. I installed GameMaker and I tried to watch some tutorials. I found this tutorial about making Asteroid game in GameMaker. The tutorial was actually quite good. I watched it, and probably the next day or a couple of days later, I tried to remake the game using my memory. I used the sprites from the tutorial and I got this kind of result. And you know, the game seemed fun. I thought maybe if I tidy it up and, I don't know, make it a bit more shiny and polished, I can release a game. First, I decided to remake sprites. I used the GameMaker sprite editor for that and it was actually quite okay. So I made those sprites, which I still think look quite good. I made a prototype probably in a couple of days. It worked on the computer with no issues. The controls were different from the original Asteroid, which I think was actually a feature, not a bug. And the next logical step for me would be to make the game mobile friendly. So I added those buttons and, you know, touch screens are working out of the box in GameMaker with one small but. And this small but is basically because they use the mouse click event. You can only register a single touch on a screen. And for my particular game it wouldn't work. I need to register, I don't know, at least 3 touches on the screen. So I had to find a workaround, I googled something, I learned something, and it was, I would say, quirky. You need to create a virtual mouse pointers and then iterate through them. But it works, and I actually exported this component so I can reuse it in my other games. I also added a fully original music, power-ups, sound effects, and, well, the game looked good. I exported this on Android using GameMaker Android Export, which was also extremely nice and fun and fast, so it was not an issue at all. Things were looking good. The next step for me was to register with Google. And to register with Google Developer, you need to pay $25 or pounds, which I did, and I started preparing to publish a game. And then, apparently, if you're an indie developer, you make games which are horrible, so Google will not let you to publish the game without finding some beta testers. Was it like 20 beta testers or 12? It doesn't really matter. Big amount of beta testers, which need to beta test your game for at least 2 weeks. Fair enough, I found those 20 or 12 or whatever people, I asked them, They played the game, they posted some bugs, and voila, I have the game ready. There's a magic button submit on my Google developer, I submit and I wait. My game is about to go live. Oh boy, was I wrong. So Google sent to me that the game was not tested enough. Like, I don't know, what do you want from me? I have a test plan, I have like 20 beta testers who played the game even though I'm a sole developer, so I don't have like, a QA department. It was tested as much as you possibly could. Anyways, I decided to stick with it. I tried to test it, I asked some people to test it again, and I submitted my game for publishing again. And Google rejected it. So I submitted it again, and Google still rejected it. So here I am. I have fun, polished, cool game, which is ready for people to play, and I actually enjoy the game and I play it myself from time to time, and I can't publish it. Google ate my $25 or pounds or whatever, and I can't publish anything because, well, you don't test it enough, and they don't even actually bother to tell you what you need to change to be able to post. I don't know, they probably just don't care. I think Play Market is oversaturated with games, with good games, bad games, so if they don't get another good or average or whatever game, they don't really lose that much. And at the very least, they gain $25 or pounds or whatever. And you know what? I decided, screw that. I just published my game for free on itch.io and JX Games. You can play it now, you can download it on Windows computer, or if you really feel that you want to support me in my channel, you can also buy an Android build for £1 to $1 or something. So yeah, what did we learn from that? Well, to make a game prototype is a simple thing. To make game polished with tutorials, with sounds, with effects, and fun and nice and releasable. Well, that takes a lot of time and effort. As I said, it took me just a couple of days to make a prototype and probably a month or so to polish it and make it releasable. But even if you have a nice and polished and releasable small silly game, releasing it is actually a bit of a hassle. If your goal is to make the next rich indie billionaire or whatever, that's probably not going to happen. But screw that, I made a game, it's fun to play, and if you play and if you enjoy it even for 5 minutes, I think my job is done here. So that's my game. You can destroy asteroids, you can get some power-ups, you can beat your high score. And I wonder, should I update it, or is it good as it is? Maybe I can change the power-ups, or I don't know, add aliens. Tell me in the comments below which addition might be useful there. And as always, it was me, Justin Coder, and see you around, my dudes.